Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Professor Pawlowski, dear CPG panel members, dear guests. It's a great honor and pleasure to present this in a Steve Jobs manner, live from the iPhone. The idea is to give you a one-to-one idea about this app, how to use it, what the functionality is, and we will jump right into it. At this point, I'd like to thank the developers team, led by Heiko Frühauf, who's among us, Sven and Nils Knobloch, and Stefan Wawrika, who made this possible, and also the input from the CPG panel was essential to create this app. So this is the main screen. You can download the app since yesterday in the App Store from Google and Apple. It's free. It runs on all iPhones, iPads, iPods, smartphones, tablets, and there's even a web version that you can use. In the beginning, you are asked to enter some information on the virus and the patient, and we'll do so and go through the different screens. So let's pretend this is a patient that suffers from genotype 1A. You have the window for the viral load that you can enter. You have the option of choosing NS5A polymorphism. Either it's untested or you have a negative or a positive result. So let's go here for a positive case. Then we'll move to the patient characteristics. Most importantly, fibrosis staging. So you can enter either the fibrosis score METAVIR if you have a biopsy, or you have the option of using FibroScan values. For instance, here we will have a patient that has a FibroScan of 16 kilopascal. This is obviously a cirrhotic patient. You're asked to enter also the child class. Let's put here a child B situation. In this case, you have to think, is this a patient that you would consider for liver transplantation? So you have here this box that you can check or uncheck if this is the case. If this is a potential transplant patient, you're asked to put the MEL score. You can enter kidney function in terms of GFR and patient weight for dose calculations of ribavirin. So you have other functions that we will not go into detail, for instance, ribavirin tolerance, or if this is a post-transplant setting. Very important is the previous treatment. So is this a treatment-naive patient or a PEG-RIVA experience or DAA experienced patient? In this case, we will go on DAA experience. This patient, for instance, had PEG-SOF-RIVA. And then you end up with 6 different treatment options. The treatment regimens, treatment duration are shown here. If this patient has co-medications that are potentially interacting with the DAAs, you have this option to enter. According to the guidelines, you have the 6 tables. They have been transformed into this interactive tool. So there are different categories of drugs: antiretroviral. You have recreational drugs. You can enter antidepressants, antipsychotics, and so on, and you have also the option of entering immunosuppressants. So let's go for this patient, tenofovir, and since we're in Amsterdam, maybe some cannabis. Let's see what the output is. You get here these brown boxes. This means there is an alert, there is a potential DDI. Maybe you have to lower the dose of some drugs. We have included here also the link to the Liverpool interaction checker. So you can enter here one of the DDI drugs. So let's go for sofosbuvir. And then we had the problem with tenofovir, just to find out what it is about. And you're given here this table. So the combination tenofovir-sofosbuvir is without interaction. However, here, soft-well, sofladiposphere, there's potential interactions. You can get more info through the Liverpool database and get a full picture of the co-medication. So let's go back to the options. For this patient, we might choose sofosbuvir declatosphere by Viren. You then connect it to a second screen where you have the posology. So all the compounds sofosbuvir declatosphere by Viren are here depicted. So for declatosphere, it would be 1 tablet, 60 milligrams, side effects, contraindications, and you have here some notes. So patients that are co-infected with HIV on certain drugs might have a lower or higher dose of the declatosphere. There's a module for scheduling the patient integrated. So let's say the patient will come on Monday to start his treatment. You want to see him every 6 weeks. Then you get the treatment schedule. You see the end of treatment would be in October, SVR12 on January 1st next year. You can send this to a printer. So this will be generated as a PDF that can be put to the patient chart or handed out to the patient or to your desk for scheduling the patient. You also have the option of printing a prescription for the chosen drug combination. Again, this is here produced as a PDF. You can print it out, put your stamp on it, sign, and you're done. So this took me like 5 minutes to go through a very complex patient. The app should allow to gain time in your busy day in the clinic. So let's do some quick examples here and just enter the minimum information required. So for instance, if you have a patient suffering from genotype 3, this is an F1 and is a treatment naive, then you have these treatment options. If this is a patient that is already treatment experienced, you just enter here PEG-RIBA and you have the new output. In the settings, you can adjust the app to your needs. For instance, as we heard this morning, there are certain countries that probably don't have access to all the DAAs. So if you want to adapt your app to your local needs, and for instance, you don't have sofosbuvir, velpatasvir available, you just tick this box and all the outputs will be without this drug. You can also enter the viral load as log. So instead of typing a lot of zeros, you just put in 6 and you get a viral load of 1 million. And for the prescription output, you can choose if you want to have the names, generic names or trade names. And also you can choose to have the prescription printed in different languages. What we also have added is the summary of the CPG recommendations. So there's this 23-page article that is basically consisting of the bullet points from the full guidelines, and we have integrated the different chapters here in this small compendium, going from general management, treatment indication, and ending with RAS in DAA failures. We have always kept the recommendations of the panel in terms of evidence. So you see this is an A1, this is an A1, this is a B1 recommendation. And we have managed to integrate the tables on the different RAS. So finally, if you want to access the full recommendations, you can always go here through the PDF version and get the full document. Last 2 things. This is version 1.0. Please send feedback. You have a direct link. If you have any suggestions how to improve the app or if something's missing, please send us an email. And finally, I'd like to thank the panel, Heiko Frühauf, and our developers for making this possible. I think this is a very useful tool, and hopefully you will all start using it from Monday on, and we will continue to improve it, and with the upcoming new drugs that will be integrated, have something that is always in line with the EASL CPG recommendations. Thank you very much.